KP Video News. It's KP Video News, y'all.
All right, folks. How you doing today? It's KP's Video News, and I'm gonna keep it rolling. And I'm gonna do an update here. It's a little more information that I had received on the David McATEE murder of the barbecue shop owner down in Louisville. And wow, man, I mean, this stuff, you can't make this stuff up, man. I mean, it's coming. I mean, one after the other. You're already doing something you're doing with one thing. Now a week later, you get another person killed, another unarmed black man killed by police. And it turns out that the owner of the black-owned barbecue joint killed by Louisville officers who had the body cameras turned off. David McATEE, a 53-year-old African-American entrepreneur who owned a barbecue restaurant in Louisville, Kentucky, and reportedly often fed the police for free, was shot and killed by officers who were trying to disperse a crowd that had gathered after the city's curfew hours. According to the Louisville Metro Police Chief Steve Conrad, the incident happened when police responded to a call about a large crowd that had gathered near a 24-hour food mart. Conrad said that police were trying to break up the crowd when someone fired a shot at the police. The police fired back, and during that exchange, Mr. McATEE was fatally wounded. It has not yet been determined, however, if McATEE was the one who fired the shots. Police Chief Conrad has since been fired. This type of institutional failure would not be tolerated, said Mayor Greg Fisher. 2 police officers were reportedly involved in the shooting. However, neither of them had their body cameras turned on at the time. Only police radio transmission and surveillance footage showing officers firing shots at unidentified targets have been released. Witnesses say the body of Mr. McATEE was left by the police on the ground for more than 12 hours. Some witnesses have also said that no one near the store was actually protesting at that time. Meanwhile, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear has called for an investigation. And wow, so they actually had a GoFundMe page for David McATEE, and they already raised $500,000, $500,000, and that's it's a really terrible situation, man. I mean, it's all this stuff is going on. We are already in the middle of a pandemic. So let me tell that pandemic story here. And this story is like, as the earth stood still, black COVID-19 patients died disproportionately in hospitals. And I have to give a shout out to, because I personally, I have two family members that been tested positive for COVID-19. My son, giving you a shout out, man. He's not showing any symptoms. However, he's tested positive, and he has to quarantine for the next 14 days. This is all new and ongoing. And praying for you, man. More power to you, and also to your cousin Dwayne in Chicago, which is an actual one of the frontline responders that actually worked in the hospital that actually contracted the coronavirus basically back at the end of March, and he went through a lot of procedures, man. He went through the going through the when they put you in the almost like on life support. For that, he was sent back home, and he had to go back again. And so now he's doing this little rehabilitation. But anyway, on with the story here. Superpower made powerless. The world's healthcare organizations have no medical cure. The global economy halted. Airplanes grounded. Cars parked. Schools and college campuses closed. record-setting unemployment, hospitals, morgues, and funeral homes overwhelmed. These are the days the earth stood still. However, even during the pandemic, African American COVID-19 patients are dying disproportionately. One study suggests that race is a major factor in COVID-19 treatment, and I've been saying that all along. The study found that black patients with COVID symptoms are tested far less than white patients. Around the world, it's the poor who live in overcrowded conditions and make up the essential workforce for most economies that are dying at alarming rates. Humanity, for all its advancements in science, technology, pharmaceutical research and development, and DNA research, is in a battle for survival. Once the poor die, the rich will die too. COVID-19 has given humanity a glimpse of the blueprint that could cause humanity's extinction in biblical terms. It's as deadly as the third horseman of the apocalypse, plague riding the pale horse. Worldwide, COVID-19 has infected over 6 million people and almost 400,000 have died. It didn't have to happen. China could have been more transparent. The World Health Organization could have acted sooner on data it had that the coronavirus could become a pandemic. The United States' reluctance to take the coronavirus seriously by the DC dunce in January and February 2020 has resulted in unprecedented death and illness in America. And in the U.S., over 1.5 million people have been infected and over 100,000 people have died. For all that's gone wrong in response to the coronavirus, humanity can still turn this around and defeat COVID-19. There is no American cure, Chinese cure, European cure. There is only a global cure that requires global cooperation, not seen since the end of World War II. At the close of World War II, every country on the planet cooperated in forming the United Nations, drafting the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and Constitution of the World Health Organization. Sidebar here. As of a couple of days ago, the DC dunce has literally cut off all ties with the World Health Organization. Let me repeat that. The DC dunce, Donald Trump, has cut off all ties with the World Health Organization and the United States. Why? Who has any idea why he would want to do that in the middle of a pandemic? So anyway, on with the story. If Trump is defeated in November, the United States can participate again in a global effort in the United States for development of vaccine research and development, antibody research and development, non-discriminatory distribution of the cure when discovered, and universal free access to the cure regardless of race, gender, disability, and economic status for all affected by this contagious disease. This is humanity's greatest crusade of the 21st century. Those with ears, let them hear. Those with ears, let them hear. And so this is a real sad situation, man. We're stuck with a person that has absolutely, positively no feelings whatsoever for humanity. And we have people that are just dropping dead, and he's trying to hide the numbers because talking about it makes him look bad. Makes him look bad, and it's upsetting his chances of being reelected. He doesn't even want us to know the true numbers of all the people that have died in the jails, all the people that have died in the nursing homes, all the people that have been experimented on at the VA hospitals, all the people in the military that are infected by COVID-19, all the people that work on government jobs that have been infected by this disease. He's trying to hide all those numbers along with doctoring the unemployment numbers, which he won't allow any other states to release their unemployment numbers. He filed a direct order, gave them a direct order to turn in all of their unemployment figures to Washington D.C. and they'll release the numbers every Thursday. So it's a bunch of garbage, man. It's a bunch of cover-ups going on, and they stockpiling all the stuff that the hospitals need. The hospitals say we need masks and all that, and they won't give them what they need. So people, as a result, people are dying. They're dropping like flies. So here we go on with the story here. This is the next story. A black congresswoman gets pepper sprayed during the George Floyd protest. Democratic Representative Joyce Beatty, a congresswoman from Ohio, was reportedly pepper sprayed while trying to mediate between police officers and protesters in Columbus, Ohio. The protest was one of many across the nation after the killing of George Floyd in Minneapolis. I was there because I wanted the young protesters to know that in solidarity that I stand with them. You know, I'm a grandmother, I'm an elected official, but I'm a black woman first, and I felt the pain. Columbus City Council President Shannon Hardin confirmed in a post on Twitter that he and the congresswoman were sprayed with mace or pepper spray, but are now fine. Beatty said that she came to the protest to support them. In a video posted in Hardin's Twitter page, she said, "It was something in my heart thinking about George Floyd, thinking about all the injustices that I needed to be out there, thinking I was protecting them and probably was not safe." Beatty was apparently trying to come between a police officer and a protester before an altercation between both groups happened, and she was sprayed. One young black female took a step off the curb, and the cop kind of took that, I guess, sideways instantly. A white man came to her defense and was instantly body slammed to the ground. The congresswoman runs into the street to hold back the cop and the protesters. Another cop comes up with his bike and pushes the congresswoman out of the way, and then it's naturally getting heated, and that one cop pulls, I don't know why he does it, he pulls out his mace and does what he does. Moreover, Beatty condemned how the police are handling and escalating tension during protests in a Twitter video. She said that too much force is not the answer to this. Even though she said she is proud of the protesters, she said it is important for them to remain calm. She said we must continue to protest, but it must be peaceful, and that does not mean we aren't standing up for justice. And this one right here, it's like a city that exploded a few years back. Ferguson, Missouri, elects their first ever African American and woman mayor. They got a black mayor in Ferguson, Missouri. You know about Ferguson, man. And Ella Jones, who has been elected as the first African American mayor of the city of Ferguson, Missouri. She is now the city's first female mayor and the first African American mayor. Was thrown into the national spotlight back in 2014 following the fatal shooting of 18-year-old Michael Brown, and has been credited for sparking the national Black Lives Matter movement. Jones, who was previously a councilwoman for the city, has been a Ferguson resident for more than 40 years. She graduated from the University of Missouri, St. Louis, with a BA degree in chemistry. She was certified by the American Chemical Society as a high-pressure liquid chromatographer and completed training as a pharmacy technician. Previously, Jones has worked for Washington University School of Medicine in the Biochemistry Molecular Biophysics Department and KV Pharmaceutical Company as an analytic chemist. Before being elected to the council, Ella completed training in municipal leadership from the Sue Shear Institute of Women in Public Life at the University of Missouri at St. Louis. After being elected to the council, Jones pursued additional education from the Municipal Governance Institute sponsored by the Missouri Municipal League and earned a certificate as a municipal official, and serving her second term on the Environmental, Energy, and Sustainable Development Committee. She is a member of the boards of the Emerson Family YMCA and the St. Louis Metro Market, a decommissioned bus that was retrofitted as a mobile farmers market to provide fresh fruits and vegetables to underserved communities. Jones is also the founder and chairperson of Community Forward Incorporated, a nonprofit community development organization. As a council member, she served as a council representative on the following commissions and boards: Human Rights, Traffic, Landmarks, Senior Citizens, Parks, and West Florissant Business Association. She reportedly enjoys fishing, traveling, and preparing for New Orleans style cuisine, dancing, and power shopping with her friends. Yep, so we have a black mayor in Ferguson, Ferguson, Missouri. You know, like I said, Ferguson, Missouri, you know, which is that city, man, that has a lot of history of hate and racism. And the police down there killed Mike Brown down there back in 2014. And they had riots. Well, not riots. Let me rephrase that. They had protests for over 400 days in Ferguson. And so now, finally, man, they're getting some change down there.